Hello, Flosstube. Remember me? This is Heather. Link is my homeboy. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. This is Flosstube number 23. Thank you for joining me. It's been about 3 months since my last video. Actually, I think it's exactly 3 months because I believe I recorded my last video on my son's birthday, which is June 24th. So, little bit of an unexpected hiatus there. Life got really busy and I wasn't able to keep up regularly with my videos, and that was giving me some anxiety, so I just decided to take a little break. So if you are a returning viewer and subscriber, thank you for sticking with me while I got my stuff together. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you'll stick around. So what I plan to do with this video, since it's been a little while and my whips have kind of changed, I'm gonna go ahead and do a whip parade, and then hopefully I'll get back into like the regular swing of things after that. So a little bit of life updates here first, I guess. Nothing too exciting, honestly. I mean, StitchCon happened, of course, and this will probably be the last, you know, the way latest mention of anything to do with StitchCon. It was a blast. I had a wonderful time. It's been so long, I don't even, like, I don't have a good memory of what exactly happened when, but I know that me and Jaffe, known as Climbing Stitcher on Instagram and Flosstube, she's not a creator, but she does comment. We both live in Indy, and we rode down together, and we roomed together while we were there. We both stayed. We stayed at the Hyatt. So we got down to Cincinnati right about noon, which was when the stitching opened. The stitching room opened on that Thursday. And we said, well, why don't we go ahead and go get some lunch? And by the time we were done with lunch and got there, we were able to get right in. So we got there, I don't know, 12:45, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. Walked in, and, you know, room full of tables and stitchers, and that was kind of an overwhelming moment for me, walking in there and seeing all these people who cross stitch and watch Flosstube and make Flosstube. And it was a little overwhelming. I like to think of myself as more extroverted than most cross stitchers. I think this tends to be a fairly introverted hobby, but even for me, it was a little woo. So but yeah, we got in there and we went and sat down, and we got our got our place, I guess. And I got up and walked around and went and checked out the freebie table and put some stuff on the freebie table, and went and checked out the brag tables and put my stuff on the brag tables. Our room was not ready when we got there, which they check-in wasn't until like 3 or something anyway. And they seemed to be a little behind anyway, because I don't even think we even got into our room until 4 or 5. But I don't know if that was because the room wasn't ready, or we were just busy, or me, I was busy talking. So but yeah, I mean, it was a little overwhelming. So yeah, Thursday, I spent a lot of that day talking and walking around. I didn't hardly do any stitching. And then I went to the late night stitching, which the conference center connected to the Hyatt. The conference center closed at 10. So we had to be out of the stitching room by 10. But the La Quinta, which is where StitchCon 2018 was held, they were doing late night stitching. So we could go over there and stitch until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I went over there and hung out with some people there. And then, I mean, I got back to my room about I don't know, 1:15 or so. Went straight to bed. Then got up that next morning and they did the trunk show, which was in like an annex across from the stitching room. And I went in there and picked out what goodies I wanted and then stood in line forever because they only had like one register, one way to check out. So hopefully they change that for next year. Now, with 2018, that might have been okay because I think there was only like 75 or 80 people there, whereas this one was 400. So, yeah, we stood in line a little while. Then I dropped my purchases off, and me and Kat from Cross Stitch Chaos, we went to Kings Island for a half a day. And we met up with I cannot remember her name. I'm a jerk. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, we met up and we all hung out for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours or so. It was unbearably hot that week. Oh my God. That week was just awful and way hot. 90s and then actual feel, heat index of like 110. It was ridiculous. But yeah, we were only there for about 3 hours. We rode a couple of rides. I got ice cream. I got the blue ice cream twice. So funny story about the blue ice cream. So Kings Island and I guess a couple of ice cream places around the Cincinnati area now carry it. But it used to be an ice cream that only Kings Island had. It's blueberry flavored. It's blueberry soft serve. And during both of my pregnancies, I craved that ice cream. And during my first pregnancy, which was far worse than my second pregnancy, during my first pregnancy, like my husband and I got mad at my husband, crying, told him he didn't love me because he wouldn't take me to Kings Island to get ice cream. And, he's like, you can't even ride the rides. You know what? Why am I going to pay $50 to get into Kings Island and then pay $10 for ice cream? And I was like, you don't love me. I don't have to ride the rides. I'll just eat the ice cream. So yeah. It's a funny memory to look back on, but I'm glad he did not. And then during my second pregnancy, when I craved it, I just didn't say anything. I just kind of fumed silently. So yeah, anyway, I got ice cream twice, just to make up for the fact that I didn't get it during either pregnancy. And then like I said, we left and we went and had lunch at Frisch's Big Boy. I think it's called just Frisch's there, maybe. Sometimes they're called Frisch's Big Boy, sometimes they're Big Boy, sometimes they're Frisch's, I guess. And the ones I've always been to, we just called it Big Boy. But we went to Frisch's for lunch and then went back to StitchCon. I went and showered because, like I said, it was disgustingly hot. There was no way people wanted to sit next to me if I didn't. So I went and showered, went back down to the room, got there. Got back in the room about 3 o'clock, I think. And I was part of the Smalls exchange that happened around 4 o'clock. And so the rest of that day, we did the exchange and then stitching, lots of stitching. Saturday was the day I went to Keepsakes and then spent a lot of time in the room stitching. Managed to finish my Haunted Mansion, which I didn't bring out here with me. But I did manage to ring the bell at StitchCon and finish my Haunted Mansion. And then Sunday packed up and loaded up the car and spent a little time in the stitching room, and then we left and grabbed lunch. Lunch was a debacle though, like just trying, because we were like, oh, let's just drive a little bit and then we'll pick up lunch, and you know, we ended up off at one exit, and something happened where we didn't go somewhere, and then we ended up off at another exit and ended up with Burger King or whatever. And then got home, and that was it. I mean, I met lots of wonderful people. I don't want to try and list everybody off because I will forget someone and I will feel bad. So, I mean, if you, I'll say it because everybody says it, but I'll say it. If you can get to a retreat, get to a retreat. If StitchCon sounds too large for you, find a smaller one and go. StitchCon just happens to be the closest one to me, and as far as like affordability, although I will say I spent about $1,000 that weekend. So if you want to keep it in perspective, this was staying at the retreat at the Conference Center Hotel, which was the more expensive of the two. I think they're going to have more options for 2020 as far as different hotels that they're going to get room rates with. I will probably not stay at the Hyatt again. I don't think it was worth, because I had a car. So if you don't have a car and you don't have to Uber and or walk or whatever, then, you know, great, stay at the Hyatt. But I think I'm going to leave those Hyatt rooms for people like that, because I have a car and I didn't mind driving. So yeah, I stayed at the Hyatt, and being that this was my first retreat, I didn't make a lot of smart choices when it came to food. Not saying like, oh, that was unhealthy. No, just like when I spent my money and where I spent my money. So, you know, instead of just going for like a $2 lunch at McDonald's or whatever for lunch, you know, I ended up at Frisch's that one time. And that was slightly expensive for a lunch, in my opinion. So I'm definitely going to make some better choices as far as food next year. Oh yeah, I'm going next year, by the way. Already got my invoice, already paid it. So I will be there in 2020. So I'm going to make a different choice as far as the hotel, different choices with foods, you know, places to eat, things like that. I probably won't spend nearly as much next year. Because once I got back from StitchCon and kind of looked at everything, a lot of the stuff, there was plenty of stuff I bought that I could have purchased probably cheaper, and there was no need for me to buy it there. I think it was just the whole, oh, I'm here at StitchCon and I'm here at Keepsakes during StitchCon, and let me buy all this stuff. Now, I will say like fabric and floss, because I did buy a considerable amount of color and cotton floss. And I bought a few pieces of fabric, but that's a little different. But like charts, needle minders, stuff like that, there was no reason for me to have purchased that stuff at StitchCon. So next year, it'll probably be a focus on fabric and floss, and unless there's like an exclusive pattern or something like that, something I hadn't been able to find somewhere else, I don't know. Gas was really negligible. We did rent a car, which my husband is being pretty insistent on me renting a car again next year, even though I told him, I was like, well, that would be a way to cut costs. And if he wants me to rent a car, I'll rent a car, I guess. That's fine. No big deal. But yeah, just keeping it real for you guys. I spent $1,000 that weekend, and I was pretty conservative, I think. You know, I didn't have a flight to take into account. I was very minimal on spending compared to what I saw some other people spending, which go you got the money to do it. I'm not saying this in any sort of judging way. I'm just saying that retreats are expensive. And I know I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that, but I mean, my half of the room was like $240. I rented a car that was like $130 for the weekend. Gas was really negligible because it was a economy whatever. I don't even know what it was. It might have been a Sentra, a Nissan Sentra. And like I said, food, you can get away a lot cheaper if you bring food. Now I will say at the Hyatt, they didn't have a microwave. So that made things a little difficult for me, because like the first day when we went in, we went to La Rosa's for lunch, and I was like, oh, hey, cool. I can kind of eat off this pizza for lunch or dinner or whatever for the next couple of days. And then I didn't eat anything other than what I had eaten at the restaurant because they didn't have a microwave. So that's something that I would take into account too when, if you're going to bring your own food, if you want to be able to microwave it, then make sure that you get a hotel that has a microwave. So they did have a fridge, but they didn't have a microwave. I don't know exactly how much I spent on food, breaking it down. I spent close to $300 on stuff, so stash. I spent like $15 at Kings Island or something like that on ice cream, but that was a whole different thing. So, but yeah, it was about $1,000 for that entire weekend for me. So, and I was probably on the cheaper end. So for those of you that's, and $150 for the registration fee. I was like, where am I getting $1,000? But yeah, so retreats are not cheap, but if you can go to a retreat, go to a retreat. Save up your money, do what you gotta do, get a part-time job, whatever, pay for it, and go to a retreat. There are plenty of others out there that are probably cheaper. If there's one that's closer to you than StitchCon, then go to that one. But they are a lot of fun. I think I maybe got 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night and didn't care because like I went to late night stitching, and then I woke up early because I just couldn't sleep anymore. So, but yeah, so that's my StitchCon recap, and I can't wait to see everybody next year. We're only like 261 days away or something like that. Yep, 261 days. I have a countdown on my iPad over here. So, all right. Now that I've blathered on about StitchCon for 15 minutes, braces update. I'm now rocking the Halloween colors. I do have elastics, but I don't have them in right now because I can't talk very well with them. And they went ahead and filed off those a little bit. But now you can really tell where my teeth have worn down now that they're straighter. And like I have an arch now. Like before, my teeth were all kind of, and so I didn't have that classic U-shaped arch. But now I do. It's very exciting for me. And I feel like my face looks a lot different now too, that my teeth are sitting differently and the elastics are causing my mouth to be different too. So, all right. So let's get into this whip parade. I'm not going to do any haul. I'm not going to do stash acquisitions or anything like that, just because this video is probably already going to be lengthy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show my whips, my current whips in order from oldest to newest. So, all right. So, and I will try to give you as much information as I can as far as floss, fabric, things like that. All right. So first up, started this on July 8th of last year. This is the Fuzzy Fox Designs Pretty Little Produce Sale. It was the 2000... It started in 2018. No, it ran through 2018. Right? Yeah, it ran through 2018. So it started in January of 2018. I didn't start it until July. So it's completely out and released now. Here's a finished picture of it. And here's where I am. So I've got the border done. I don't have the title in there yet. And I'm missing, I don't know, 12 of them. So, and that's the start on, I don't remember what that's the start on. You'll know because you'll have seen the picture. This is on 20 count vintage country mocha Ada. It is done in mostly called for. The border is a color and cotton, but I don't remember what it's called. I've had to change a couple of colors. Like I think the brown spots in the potato here are a different color because they blended in too much with the fabric. So, you know, if I worked on this for probably a week straight, I could have it done. All right, next one up. I started this on July 9th, 2018. Lindy Stitches, Birds to the Boughs. And I'm at a pathetic point on this one. This is done on 20 count Ada in Purple Passion. It's a Witchold or a Zweigert, I can't remember. I have substituted some color and cotton flosses in here. I have substituted a couple of Victorian mottos. I made his crown in Kryneck. So again, pathetic. If I spent like a couple weeks on this one, I could have it done. My goal is to make sure everything is done within 2 years of starting it. So both of those need to be done by next July. Okay, next up, started on August 5th, 2018 is Cappella dei Fiori from Michael Powell. Here's a picture of that. And here's where I am on it. And this is done on 14 count Ada from Color and Cotton called Cosmic Candy. It's a little more pink than what is showing up on the screen here. I got a new phone. I got the iPhone 11 and the camera, it's showing colors pretty true, it seems. This one's just a little more pink than is showing there. All right, next up, started this one on October 15th, 2018. This is Heartstring Samplery's Cross Stitch Nation. I'm using exactly none of the called for colors. And there's my pathetic start on it. So I'm using a mixture of flosses. This is a 32 count Belfast from Crafty Kitten, a UK dyer, Crafty Kitten linen, and in the color Bracken, I believe. On the center of the flowers, I am doing Algerian islets. Is that what they're called? I think so. So yeah. Next up, started this on November 10th, 2018. This is Lesley Teare's Blackwork Lady. And honestly, if I spent a good day on this, I could probably have it done. Because Blackwork goes pretty fast. So this is done on a 28 count home dye Bonico. It's got like pinks and oranges in it. That's actually showing the color really, really well. And this was done for Carrie and Stitch's birthday sale in 2018. Maybe I can have it done by her birthday of this year. I could try. Next up, I started this on December 6th, 2018. This is the Fuzzy Fox Designs Magic Mini Monster Cell. It is still ongoing. It started in January of this year, and I think it'll run until March of next year, because I think it's going to be 15 months. And here's a picture of where it is currently. Rachel of Fuzzy Fox Designs kindly sent me a photo of it in its entirety. And here's how pathetically behind I am on that. I don't even have the border done. This is a 20 count opalescent Ada mottled gray. You can see the sparkles there when I move it. This is from Mystic Fabrics. And like I don't even have the border done. The border is a unicorn tails in the colorway Trolls. And I am subbing in a Mo's Sail Floss for the main body colors on all the monsters, but the rest of it is called for. And then I did the title as called for. So way behind, definitely not going to catch up on this one, because the 20 count opalescent Ada is it gives my eyes trouble. Like I can see the holes fine, but after staring at the opalescent and the smaller holes, it sometimes just gives me a headache. So I can't work on it. I can't just work on that and try and catch up. I just can't. All right, now we're into stuff that I started this year. So January 29th, 2019, Let Them Be Small from Lizzie Kate. And I'm doing this on a piece of 16 count Ada from Color and Cotton. I don't remember the name of it. Oasis, maybe? And I'm doing a mixture of my own called for colors. My own conversion. So not very far on that one either, but you know, I'll get there someday. Next, February 19th, 2019 is the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Seize the Day sale. There is one more part left, which is like this bottom part here. And I think that releases tomorrow. And I haven't even technically finished the first release, because the first release includes all that line of water, and mine's not complete. But I received the kit in a giveaway from Stitch and Mommy, and so I'm using the called for fabric, the called for flosses. I did take the face out of the sun because I don't like faces on things that shouldn't have faces. Sorry, not sorry. So this is a 28 count Zweigert even weave in like a sandy color. And then all the called for DMCs. Next up, on March 14th, 2019, I started Lindy Stitches, the Peacock Keeper, aka Disco Turkeys. And this is done on a piece of, my needle minder was getting stuck there, so I had to take it off. Okay, there we go. This is done on a piece of 32 count Joplin. It's either 28 or 32 Joplin. In the colorway Petunia from Color and Cotton. I love this fabric. It's so pretty. And I'm doing my own conversion. A lot of the colors are really close to the called for fancies, because I took the fancies and I used the DMC conversion and then picked my fancies from there. So love that. Next up, on April 14th, yes, randomly on April 14th, I decided to start a Christmas pattern. So this is Christmas Sentiments from Stoney Creek Collection. I received this in a mystery Christmas box from Mo's Sale last year. So this is on some Mo's Sale dyed fabric, and it is on, and it's got Mo's Sale dyed flosses. And I decided to try my hand at 28 count 1/1. I'm probably, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do the tree and make it an ornament. And then I'll probably do this one and make it an ornament too. And I might take some of these words, maybe joy under this one, and maybe, I don't know, peace or hope under that one. And maybe do something with that border. I haven't decided quite yet, because I didn't think about it when I was doing 1/1. I was just like, oh, I want to try some 1/1. So that's what I did. And this is a 28 count even weave that Mo dyed. You can see it's got some really light modeling in there. I didn't have any goals as far as like getting that finished this year or something like that. I'm not concerned about it. Then let's see here. April 29th, I started Spring Hedgehog from Kulakova Stitch. It's a Russian designer, so lots of colors, lots of blends. Isn't that little hedgehog cute? I named him Rupert. And watch out, lots of progress. This is also a piece of the Petunia from Color and Cotton. This is the original piece I purchased for Peacock Keeper, but because the first run of Peacock Keeper had the wrong stitch count on it. And yeah. But yeah, so really impressive start there. Yes, Amanda, I know. I will get back to it. Leave me alone. Stitched Pixels, Amanda, and Delcat Stitches, or Delcat Meow now on Instagram. We are doing a sort of a sal on that, and Amanda's like kicking our butts because Amanda does that. Then May 10th, 2019, I started the Light World map from Legend of Zelda. Here's a picture. It's a screenshot from the game. And this is my first kind of large-ish full coverage piece. And I decided I wanted to do it cross-country, like full cross-country stitching from least amount of stitches to most amount of stitches with the colors. So here's where I've gotten. I sort of lazy gridded the pages in. So, and yes, I used pencil, don't at me. But you can see where that's like the main castle down there. This is that little like turret or whatever up on the hill. So yeah. My back. Yep. Carrying stitches all over the place. And this is just done on a piece of 18 count, I don't know, antique white, off-white cream, something like that, Ada. Next up, let's see, June 1st, I joined in the Magical Moth Sal, which is a sal run by Diana of It Is Kismet Stitches and some other people, for H.L.'s Moth by Kathy Barrick. It's my first Kathy Barrick. And that's how far I've gotten. I'm doing a little bit of a purple conversion because this is a piece of 32 count linen from Color and Cotton in the color Dragon Fruit. And that's a pretty accurate representation of the color. And I didn't want like the called for reds and pinks and stuff. I didn't want those to get lost. So I converted them to purples. Someone did a blue conversion of that and I'm like, ooh, blue. I should have done that. Next up, on July 5th, 2019, I started the Needles Dance, which is a collaboration from Ink Circles, Hands On Designs, and Summer House Stitchworks. This was a special kit that you could only purchase from shops who went to a class held by these ladies at Nashville Market. I was gonna say Galleria, but that's not right because Galleria just happened. So I've worked on this for all of like a day and a half and haven't gotten very far. I'm selling this with Carrie of Carrie and Stitches, and she has had nothing but trouble with the, like, she had to like frog and redo the border up there like 7 times or something. It's ridiculous. I substituted the fabric that came in the kit with a piece of, this is actually 36 count linen in, I don't remember what it's called. It's from Color and Cotton. I bought it at Stitch Cotton. I bought a fat quarter, cut it in half because it only requires an 1/8 on 38. So I'm doing it 1/2. And I'm using the called for flosses though, which they're all Classic Colorworks flosses. So next up, what did I start? On July 6th, I started the Magic Wonder Whale from Owl Forest Embroidery. Here's the picture of what it looks like. And this can only be purchased in a kit. And I love the design. I did not love the colors. So I sent the floss and fabric to Diana of His Kismet Stitches, and I put in my own fabric and floss. So the fabric is 32 count opalescent Big Sky from Mystic Fabrics. See the sparkle there? And I've got some Silks for You, some Mo's, some Color and Cotton, maybe a Victorian motto. I just absolutely love this. And I call him my toasted Russian whale because look at that. His eye is like, he's totally toasted. Hitting that seaweed. Yes, bad joke. Please don't unfollow me. Okay, next up, let me just kick my camera and drop stuff. How about that? The Tiny Modernist Sleepy Hollow Sal. I'm doing it all as one big piece because I don't have a lot of flat space to be able to house those little drums, even though they're absolutely adorable. I would like to try a drum someday. And here's how far I am. I've got the border done for sections 1, 2, and 3 and part of 4. And then I've got about half of section 1 done because I was trying to get section 1 done before section 2 released, and then it just didn't happen. And so I didn't want to move the Q-snap, but then I took everything off the Q-snap for this. So I could probably move it over. I'm doing mostly called for colors, except I added the Etoile for his cape. It's C550. I used some sort of light effects for the stars. The ghost is glow in the dark. The border is a limited edition from Color and Cotton. I think it was in her Halloween box last year, maybe. I don't remember what it's called. Fortune Teller? Fortune Teller, that's what it's called. And then the letters here are Bejeweled from, it's either Gast or Classic Colorworks. I can't remember which one. But I'm alternating between, like, 1 and 3 are going to be Classic Colorworks, Erin Go Bra? I don't know. And then this is Bejeweled, and that's going to be on 2 and 4 for the words. So the final part comes out on October 1st. Definitely not going to be caught up by then, but that's okay. I'm used to that. We're getting there, I promise. Then on July 20th, I started Boughs from Lizzie Kate Spring Smalls. That's this one down here. And this is done, I think this is 32 count even weave in the color Violets. I don't know if that's a specific dyer or anything. I bought it at Keepsakes during StitchCon, and then I'm using the color Old Santa from Color and Cotton. Next up, on August 2nd of this year, I started Plum Street Samplers Heaven Gave Rain. This is on loan from a friend. And of course, I'm not doing any of the called for colors. This is a piece of Dapple from Picture This Plus. It might be a 14 or a 16. And I've gotten a very measly start on it. And I'm not doing any of the called for colors, and like her dress is gonna be like turquoise, I think, instead of this muted burgundy color, and I'll get there. August 10th, Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's one of their newest seasonal sayings. Look at those cute little ghosties. This is on a piece of 28 count Aurora from Seraphim hand-dyed fabrics. I'm sticking with most of the colors. I darkened them. So like the purple here is a darker purple. It's still like a neon green, and some of the called for, some not. I believe the ghost is in glow in the dark, because most ghosts are doing glow. Yeah, it is. I can feel it. It's glow in the dark. On August 14th, Lila Studio Sirena. I got the water started. Doing my own colors. This is a piece of fabric from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. I think it's a 28 count. Yeah, it's 28 count. Definitely 28 count. Look at the size of those stitches. Absolutely love it. She's gonna look great on there. I'm also doing this year's Stiachalong, which I'm about halfway through week number 5. And it's been guessed that it's the Golden Girls. It got guessed really, really quickly, but so far they've given us like hair, but we still haven't got any faces, so it's going to be like, okay, that's where the twist is. This is being done with the called for colors of floss on... This is it's a 28 count Hand Dyed by Rolanda. Jennifer Upton gave it to me. She stitched her small for StitchCon on it. She was stitching it when she got there. And I was like, oh, I like that. That's a pretty fabric. And she cut off a piece and just handed it to me. And she's like, okay. Next up, September 2nd, I started the Plum Street Samplers Tired Trio. I'm stitching this with Jaffe of Climbing Stitcher and Deborah of Stitch the Stash. And of course, I'm doing none of the called for colors. This is a piece of, what is this, 28, 32? I think it's 32. Based on the size of the stitches, I think it's 32. 32 count opalescent Sugar Plum Fairies from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this is a Moselle silk that I'm using on the border there. So I'm real far on that one too. And last but certainly not least, my most recent start on September 8th is Barbara Anna's A Pearl from the Sea. This is my first Barbara Anna. Clearly, I'm not using any of the called for colors. I was trying to go for like a tan mermaid because I figure for mermaids riding around on a flamingo, she's not going to be as white as me. So, she ended up more ethnic than tanned, but that's okay. We need brown mermaids too. So, this is a mix of, I really just brightened up most of the colors. So where it was blue, I stayed blue except for the skin color. The hair, I used a Mosale Sina. That's one of her Moana colors. The flamingo is done in Flamingo from Color and Cotton. Some of the colors are called for. I did a sparkly key there. And this is done on the other half of that piece of 32 count opalescent Big Sky from Mystic Fabrics. All right, so that's all my whips. Other than stuff that is like gift stitching and stuff like that, because I don't put those on my whip list because they have their own deadlines and stuff like that. I do have a couple of gifts, like I'm doing a Secret Santa swap with my my Frooks group, and I'm doing a little gifty exchange with Carrie of Carrie and Stitches. I've got some other stuff I need to get out to some friends that I just haven't done, but I was gonna talk. Oh, I left School of Magical Stitches and Literature. There was more drama. Not gonna talk about it, but there's drama twice. I just can't do it. It's stitching. Fake points. Bye. So Kat of Cross Stitch Chaos and her roommate Deborah and I started another challenge group. This one is a Disney-based challenge group. So this one doesn't involve any reading. This is mostly stitching. It's like 99% stitching and 1% watching movies. So we're doing a different movie each month. This first month we did Sleeping Beauty September, and it's the original animated one. We're on the last week now, but feel free to join us. So we do different tiers for your challenges. So there's a timed option that gets you 1 point. There's a smaller stitch count which gets you 2 points, and then there's a higher stitch count which gets you 3 points. And we're giving out certificates if you do like the whole month at the 250 level, which is the 5 points. What is that? The royal level. And we're doing certificates if you finish the bigger, we call them the Fairy Godmother Extreme Challenges. So if you want to join, it's called Enchanted Stitching Challenges on Facebook. Just request to join, answer the questions, and check us out. I'm going to try and get back onto a regular schedule of filming, and we'll see how that goes. October tends to be a fairly busy month for us because my brother's birthday is on the 1st, my birthday's on the 10th, mine and my husband's anniversary is on the 18th, River's birthday is on the 19th. I'm going to have a freaking 2-year-old. Oh my God. I don't know where the time has gone. And then Halloween is a big thing in our house too. So I'm going to try and go back to every 2 weeks, but if not, I may just have to be a monthly floss tour and just do a monthly update and go from there. So, thank you guys for sticking around and letting me ramble and Next time it'll be more of a regular update where, you know, I show off the FOs and the FFOs if I have any, which maybe not. Talk about any like stash acquisitions and things like that. So this one's a little bit long. Sorry about that. But next time we should be back to our like half hour or so. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good one. Bye.